Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to some more New York Jets franchise. And today, we've got the game where we left off in the playoffs 15 long, hard years ago. The AFC Championship. Now could be the opportunity to prove to everybody, prove to ourselves that maybe we're more than what meets the eye. We beat the Bills 42-38. We beat the Chargers 35-30. We have fought so hard to get to this point. To just let Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry stop us? No, we cannot do that. Now we still don't have Breece Hall. He's out for one more week. So if we win this game, we'll get Breece Hall back. But it doesn't seem that's going to happen because we're playing against one of the best teams in the league, if not the best. This O-line looks pretty solid except for the left guard. They shouldn't really be able to pressure us too good. They should struggle a little bit. We got all of our tight ends back. Our receiving core is looking good. Garrett Wilson, Darius Etienne. We're looking at full strength except for the running back position. But we should be good there. Travis Etienne, he absolutely popped off last game. As you can see, he cooked last week. 142 yards, 17 carries, and 4 touchdowns. I'd say that's a pretty decent game. I'd say so myself. He broke 4 tackles, had 1 fumble, and we just dominated Buffalo in the run game. Now, of course, we did also dominate them in the passing game. Mike Ward playing better than Josh Allen. Typical work. Receiving game, Colston, Loveland, and Rashid Shaheed absolutely balled out their minds. ETN adding an extra 56 to his total yards, getting him to over 200 total yards on the day. If we can get ETN those type of numbers today, that's going to be great. Now, the Ravens, they haven't necessarily had the toughest road to get here. They've had to face off against the Raiders and the Titans. So they've played some pretty, I wouldn't say easy teams, but teams that kind of you wouldn't think are that hard to play against. They got a young quarterback in Cam Ward on the Titans, and, well, the Raiders are the Raiders. They've pretty much only got Ashton Jeanty and Max Crosby. That's pretty much it for them. The Ravens, they've had a pretty easy road, but for us, we've had to beat 2 of the top teams in the NFL right now, the Chargers and the Bills. 2 playoff-bound teams pretty much every year. And we beat them, we barely beat them, but we beat them nonetheless. And on the other side, for the NFC Championship, we've got the Detroit Lions taking on the Falcons. Both of these teams look pretty good, but the Falcons have dominated their way to getting here. They dominated the Seahawks in the wild card, and then they dominated the Buccaneers in the divisional. Falcons have a lot of momentum, and if they keep that up, they could very well go back to the Super Bowl for the first time since, well, the 28-3 incident. If you're a Falcons fan, you probably don't speak of that incident ever. And if you're a Lions fan, you're just cursed. You have a certain curse on you. I don't remember the name of it, but there is. If you're superstitious, then people say that there's a curse on the Lions about trying to make the Super Bowl. They have yet to do that. This could be their first chance to break that curse. And then for the Jets, I don't think we really cursed. I think we just have always sucked or have had crappy management. But today, that's all going to change when we take on the Ravens and try to make the Super Bowl for the first time in, heck, I don't even know. So the last time the New York Jets have actually made the Super Bowl and won it was 1968. That is a long, long time ago. That's more than almost 60 long years. Yeah, that's a little scary right there. About 50 something years, I'd say. Yeah, we're we're gonna be doing something the Jets haven't done in a really long time. Of course, that was back when they had Joe Namath. He's a legendary Jets quarterback. Heck, we might even have the next Joe Namath on our team in Mike Ward. Now, I might be hyping this man up too much right now, but Mike Ward is literally the best rookie quarterback ever, even better than Andrew Luck. I've looked at the stats. He has like 100 more yards. Mike Ward has like 100 more passing yards than Andrew Luck. The passing touchdowns, I believe, is also record breaking, even better than RG3, CJ Stroud, Cam Newton, whatever. Mike Ward is the best rookie quarterback in NFL history, and the stats don't lie. As I said before, we're not going to have Breece Hall or Jared Dunn this game. Now, Jared Dunn he is our backup rookie center, so we're not really going to miss him too much for now, because we do still got Tippmann. That O-line of ours is looking pretty solid, except for the left guard position, which we could probably go after either in free agency or the draft. And then we've got Breece Hall right here. It's a shame. He won't be back unless we win this game, which hopefully we can. Hopefully we can win it and go to the big old Super Bowl. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the AFC Championship. We've got two of the best teams in the AFC fighting it out, duking it out, going bar for bar, band for band, to try and get a shot at the Super Bowl. Jets started off hot in the season, but then started to slow down, going 10-7, just barely making the playoffs. And the Ravens, they pretty much dominated their way to get here, only losing 5 games in the process. We look to be one of those 6 losses that they have. And here we go. Borges looking to kick off. The Ravens will get the ball first. And he's going down at the 24. Lamar Jackson hopefully looking to get this game underway for the Ravens. He's had a pretty mid-season. Doesn't appear he's had the best season so far. Look at that backfield. 2 X factors is insane. And Lamar going to scramble out. He's going to have a lot of room. And nobody's going to be able to get there. Sauce Gardner can't take him down. That's why he's dangerous. So Lamar avoiding the sack and getting about 48. And now Lamar going to run, but he's going down for a loss of 2. So Sebastian Joseph Day is there for the TFL. 3rd and 10. Ravens looking to pass. Incomplete. Nearly intercepted. Nearly caught. But it was intended for Rashad Bateman, who can't bring it down. Jets' first play in the AFC Championship on offense. And it's a run for 6. Incomplete. Ward getting lucky there. It wasn't intercepted. And now on 3rd and 4. And ETN gets it, but it's 4th and inches. And of course, the Jets have done this all season. They're going for it. And he fumbles it again! ETN fumbles it in a big moment when it matters most. What is up with him fumbling? This makes no sense. He's fumbled in the biggest moments possible. And now Jackson's going to get another chance. Hopefully to not get six, or not to get six. So it was intended for Zay Flowers, but it just didn't get there. And now they're going to throw it. And he's going to get about 10. But it's not enough for the first. So now 3rd and inches. And Lamar barely gets it. So they barely get the first down on that QB sneak. And it's caught. Great pass right there. So that was a Baltimore first down. Down to the 10-yard line. And it's caught. Zay Flowers open in the flat. What are we doing? It's man defense. Get your man. Zay Flowers is left unattended in the outfield. And Lamar Jackson just, there's my guy. Wide open for 6. Zay Flowers getting it for the first touchdown in the game. We can't be having that kind of play. ETN fumbled last game and trying to reach out for a first, and now he fumbled this game. You just can't be having that, as that's out to Loveland, who picks up a first. We might just have to rely on the passing game, because we can't expect our running backs to hold on, apparently. We are inches away from our first, well, actually not our first, a first down. And ETN holds on this time. It would have been nice if we could have got some blocking on that screenplay. There was 3 guys going out there to block, but none of them could actually get it. And now that's Colston Loveland, who's got plenty of space. First down for the Jets. We're driving down pretty quickly. So Ravens only up by 7 now. Will that matter though? That probably not. We're going to fake the handoff. And they're going. And Zay Flowers with speed. He's going to get away from the defender, catch the ball, and just perfect play right there for the Ravens. It seems our defense is starting to struggle a little bit. Can we get another stop? And that's going to be caught. He's going to have plenty of room. Big catch and run. So that's the end of the first. Score 10-3. It's not out of the woods yet. But if the Baltimore Ravens want to hold on to this win, they can keep just doing what they're doing. But if the Jets want to win, they got to flip the ship around. Because this is not how you want to play against a team like the Ravens. So defense has been struggling. They've already allowed Baltimore into the red zone. And Lamar's going down. Shamar Turner with, actually no, that's Sebastian Joseph Day with 6. I'm sorry, with the sack. Defense has held them so far. They let them get in the red zone, but then they just don't let them advance any further. And Bateman can't get it again. Sauce Gardner on the coverage. Deflected. Lamar's not happy. They're going to have to just take 3 again. Ravens find themselves at 3rd and 10. Jets need to get this stop big time. And Lamar, he's going to get the first. That's why he's a dual threat quarterback. That's why he's considered an MVP candidate practically every year. You got to watch out for him. We had him at 3rd and 10. We just couldn't stop him. We're going to have to put a man on him. And they're going to run it with King Henry, who's going to get out there. He's going to break a tackle. You can't even play man defense on him. If we want any hope of winning this game, we've got to get a stop. We can't have this turn into the Chiefs game. Because it is Derrick freaking Henry. Alright, we're going to try playing some man on him again. So the Ravens find themselves already in the red zone. And Lamar gonna get in the end zone. Lamar using his legs to get in. The Jets defense is absolutely unaware that Lamar Jackson is a scrambling quarterback. See right there, they realize a little bit too late when there's literally nobody in coverage. Use your eyes. 3rd and 10. We can't keep looking at this situation and expecting it to go any better for us. And now that's ETN with the catch. 1st down, finally. Now, we're going to try to run hurry up. There is only 3 minutes left in the half. But we do need to try to score quickly. Now, ETN getting a first. Leaving this defense on their heels. Maybe we can catch this defense off guard every single time we run. And that's Garrett Wilson with the catch. He's going to get out of bounds. So we've actually managed to drive down the field. There's Colston Loveland with the catch. It's still anybody's game, but right now it's looking mostly like Baltimore Ravens through and through. And that's a touchdown, but there's a penalty. And it looks like it's probably going to be on ETN. What is the penalty? Actually, maybe not. We might have a Jets' first touchdown.
Offside, defense.
And it's going to be offsides on the defense. So they've started to use Derrick Henry just a wee bit more. And you can tell he is still pretty much in the prime of his career. And he's going to chunk it up deep as Ray Thomas in coverage. It doesn't matter. Zay Flowers got speed. How did he spend that entire time with them? And then as soon as I switch on, it's just non-existent. Zay Flowers, just touchdown. Shamar Turner couldn't get there in time. What are we doing? It's a wobbly freaking ball. As a Ray Thomas in coverage, but he's just not quick enough. Defense still refuses to do anything to help out this offense. Speaking of which, ETN can't get it. It's intercepted. Kyle Hamilton. We're trying to do too much. It's what's costing us. Kyle Hamilton in coverage. We can't do anything. This Ravens defense is too good, and our defense apparently is just playing like absolute dog crap. Mike Ward. Yeah, this ain't looking good for you, buddy. Double covered. ETN. Yeah. It seems anytime we throw a football, there's always like 3 or 4 guys there. As soon as we get it to the guy, there's always like 3 or 4 guys there in coverage. And they're going to check it down to King Henry, who is going to go down 2nd inches. Baltimore, they have this game pretty much where they want it. Not struggling whatsoever. They have no worries about winning this game right now. Zay Flowers, please make a tackle, guys. It's not that hard. He's a small guy. Please, just make a tackle. You're like 300 pounds. He's only like 150. Zay Flowers already at over 100 yards today. Lamar's not even that much of a passing quarterback either. And it should have been picked, but it wasn't. Touchdown, Baltimore. They're just running up this score before halftime. We had him right there in coverage, but he just didn't get the hands up. Something is not right with this defense. So that's going to be the end of the first half. We have looked like utter garbage. Doesn't even look like we should be here. Down 24. It's not over yet. It is not. But we got to go look at how the NFC Championship's going right now. Actually, just kidding. We're not going to. This AFC Championship is turning out to be an absolute nightmare for the Jets. We can't get a stop on defense. We can't score on offense. And Zay Flowers is cooking us. He already has 100 yards in the first half. We're looking rough. They started to get Derrick Henry involved a little bit. And yeah, well, Derrick Henry's going to be Derrick Henry. I I can tell how they went 12-5 now. Ravens have locked us down every single step of the way. We're looking very much like we shouldn't be here. 1st and 10. We're going to have to hurry up every single step of the way now. We can't afford anything bad. But speaking of which, Colston Loveland making a great grab. But we're going to have to run as quick as we can.
First down, New York.
ETN making a great grab. Every inch matters.
Brings up 2nd and 2 at the 40-yard line.
Garrett Wilson getting a first down. We need everything to go right for us if we want to have any shot of winning this. We've already got a stomp on the Ravens, holding them to 3. We just got to produce. And that's Mason Taylor with the drop. The Ravens somehow forcing Mason Taylor to drop it. 2nd and 10. I don't know how they just forced him to drop it right there. But it seems... And they're dropping it. We can't hold on. We can't seem to hold on to a freaking football. So we're just going to have to try every single stomp we can. And it's thrown behind them. We have no other option but to go for it. When you're down by this much, it doesn't really matter how good or bad you are. But it matters how good you can block, because we cannot do that. Actually, let me flip it around. Let's see. How does Joe Tippmann do? One of our, if not our best offensive linemen. He completely allows him to run right by him. Hey, man, you should probably get your hands on him. Maybe, just maybe, you give Ward, like, a second more. What are you doing? And then 56, you have a chance to go block him, but what do? You turn your back to the only defender rushing the quarterback openly. He should have, there was 2 guys there who could have blocked him, but no, you didn't. Joe Tippmann and Zach Kelge, y'all had a great opportunity to block that one guy. You allowed him to do a freaking, what is it? Why are you doing a swing move? Tippmann, you're an offensive lineman. Block him. Why are you doing a swing move? You're an offensive lineman. Your goal and your job is to freaking block for the quarterback, not to do whatever this stupid crap is. That is possibly the dumbest move you can do as an offensive lineman. You should get fired for that. Fired on the spot. So after possibly the dumbest blocking in NFL history, Lamar Jackson has his X factor. And he's going to find his Zay Flowers and flats. We had an answer for the Ravens offense before. We can do it again. But we can't do it if our offense does not score anything. And now Derrick Henry's just going to run freely. And he can get brought down at first contact. The Ravens might have just punched a hole right through us. Sending a man in motion. They're going to let the pass it. It's over the middle, and that's gone. First down, Ravens. If only we could actually do something. We need somebody to step up. Maybe it might be a little bit too late, because we've yet to score anything. And first down, Ravens. They check it down to the flats, and it's pretty much first down. They score at all here. It's probably already almost game over. But Lamar gonna have open running room, touchdown Ravens. I probably shouldn't have blitzed there, but would it have mattered? Probably not. Lamar gets in for another rushing touchdown. Getting that burst of speed. Jermaine Johnson, freaking... We have guys just running around endlessly in the back of the end zone looking like absolute freaking idiots. Looking like they don't know that they're in the NFL. looking like they want to be a part of the crowd more than the actual freaking team. That was probably one of the easiest catches you'll have in your career this year. Now, Garrett Wilson finally making a grab. Big play. A little too late, though. Anything will do. Down 34. Please, Shaheed. He's not got enough speed to break away. Nate Wiggins is there. Maybe this offense is starting to heat up a little bit. But just maybe a little too late. And D-Hop! And what could be his last ever touchdown gets it in the playoffs against one of his former teams. Gave D-Hop a chance. And he absolutely took it. One of the best jump ball catchers in the NFL history. Mike Ward, he's not had that great of a game. He just chunks it up to his man D-Hop in coverage on top of Kyle Hamilton and the number 34. Like I said before, two men always somehow get in coverage. That's going to be the end of the third. I don't think it's time to put up your fours. This one's pretty much over. Down 37 or down 27. Yeah, we barely even managed to stay in this game. Offense has heavily struggled. We could have scored 44 if we had a much better offense this game. But Ravens just played better than us so far. ETN was supposed to run a block and out. A block and out. And you know what this man ran? Not a block and out. And we can't even pass it. There's pressure there constantly. I swear to God if it was Joe Tippmann again. Joe Tippmann, if this was you, it was Joe Tippmann again. 76. This is the worst blocking I have ever seen. First, ETN tries to block freaking whatever it is, the guy off the edge. He tries to block his man off the edge when he's supposed to block and then go on a route. But you know what this idiot does? He blocks and then his man beats him and he's like, I don't got to run a route, so I guess I'm just going to I'm going to chase after the guy who I'm supposed to be blocking. This is such crappy gameplay. Because I was aiming for freaking ETN, but you know what this sucker does? Blocks, sees his man beats him, and he tries to chase after him to block him. No! Run your route! And then right here, Tippmann has had a crappy blocking game all day. He's an 86 overall. Play like it. But no. Well, it's two guys in. 76, Kenyon Green, I understand you're like in the 70s overall wide, like you're 73 overall. But step up. Or, Joe Tippmann, you're cutting in front of your guy. Why? Why are you stepping in front of your own teammate? You're screwing over Mike Ward. You're screwing us over. Freaking controls, please. This is so bad. Tippmann steps right in front of Green, so Green doesn't have a chance to block 40 or even 92. Tippmann tries to take all the action. Tippmann gets double teamed. And then freaking Matabuike just absolutely destroying Tippmann all game. I understand he's superstar dev, but that doesn't mean Tippmann gets destroyed all game. Every single play. We have pretty decent defensive linemen, but it doesn't matter. We couldn't get a single pressure. We couldn't get much pressure on Lamar at all. And that's going to be the end of the game. 51-17 is your score. We couldn't get anything going on offense, and you could tell the moment ETN fumbled the first play of our offensive drive, actually the first play of the game for us, you can tell we were basically doomed from the start. Ravens just cooked us offensive-wise, dropping 51. Our defense, we couldn't get much done. They torched us over the top. Zay Flowers just got that speed. Lamar just scrambling it in. If we make it this far next year, we can only hope we don't have to play the Ravens. Seems like the Ravens are the only team that can actually beat us. D-Hop getting a perfect catch right there and what could be his last ever touchdown if he retires. Hopefully he doesn't. Lamar having probably a game of his life. The game of his life. Probably one of his best games ever. And it comes against a team that looked like the last year's Jets. This game upsets me. Mike Ward, we had to pass with him so many times because when we tried to get the run game involved, we had to worry about whether our running back was going to fumble it or hold on to it and just lose 15 yards. The defensive line was just too much. We can't block. Even though we have a pretty freaking solid O-line, we just cannot block at all. And Lamar Jackson, not getting much pressure on him at all, allowed him to get a 74-yard pass. Now, I will admit, it looked a little bit wobbly, so maybe he was pressured just a wee bit, but it doesn't matter. 3 touchdowns passing. That's insane. No picks. We couldn't produce anything. We should have had 1 or 2 there. Lamar having probably the best game of his entire career. Ward just having another crappy day. Well, not crappy, but he got some garbage time points. But Ward, he can play better. I know he can. But he can't play better if this O-line like Joe Tippmann's trying to swim move a defender, allowing them to get right by him. We can't have that. That's not what you want to do. That's not how you play linemen. And then the run game, Baltimore had 2 guys with over 100 yards. And then whenever we tried handing it off to Etienne, who we thought could have had another big game, decided, hey, I'm going to fumble on the very first offensive play of our entire game. Ain't that something? We fumbled the first play. First freaking play. And I had to worry about whether he can hold on to the ball or not. Because Baltimore, score after score after score. We couldn't produce a single sack. Well, we probably did. But we couldn't produce much pressure other than that. And in the receiving game, Darius Etienne, garbage time. Really. He can't hold on. We had 3 of the leading receivers, but Zay Flowers did much better. Isaiah Thomas, who's considered one of the best corners in the league, one of the best corners in the AFC, gets torched by Zay Flowers. Let that sink in. Zay Flowers, I believe he was a Pro Bowler, but does it matter? No. Etienne will probably be in a Pro Bowl conversation. Him and Mike Ward, definitely going to be in the Pro Bowl, for sure. Definitely. Colson Loveland, Garrett Wilson, y'all got involved. DeAndre Hopkins got what could have been his last ever career touchdown. We don't know his future. He hasn't told us whether he's going to retire yet or not. He's going to leave that up for a while. Rashid Shaheed, he dropped a couple. Actually, I say he dropped only 1. Nobody else dropped one, apparently. Even though we already know that's false. Etienne dropped a couple. He had his hands on them. He would have them. And then they would barely touch him. And then he'd drop it. I know that's a false 0 drops. He definitely dropped some. I'm pretty sure almost every single one of our guys dropped. Mason Taylor couldn't really get involved. He dropped one. He had it in his hands. As soon as he got touched. That's a big problem in this game. Receivers dropping it just because they barely get touched when they should have brought down with it. Mason Taylor having a very uncharacteristic game. It's not looking good. Now for the defensive side, we did get a lot of tackles on defense, but that's because the majority of the time we were on defense. We really had no chance to score on offense because, well, the offensive line wanted to play like dog crap. And then receivers just couldn't get open. Kyle Hamilton absolutely cooked us. Sebastian Joseph Day, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, and Shamar Turner, and Julian Blackman, they all got a TFL. Now, whether that was on Lamar, not really. These two right here. Rookie Ben Gonzalez out of Clemson. Even got a sack. 78 overall. Can't block. Matabuike, he could have got probably 6. He probably could have got like, I don't know, 3 or 4 sacks this game. If Joe Tippmann played relatively good at all, if he didn't play like an absolute bum, then we wouldn't be talking about him having a sack now. We wouldn't. If he played up to his overall, which is 86, we wouldn't be talking about Matabuike having a sack now. We probably wouldn't even talking about have Gonzalez be having a sack now. Shamar Turner getting a half sack, and Sebastian Joseph Day getting a half sack. Yeah, the guys we thought were going to produce a lot more for us, they couldn't beat this O-line. Unless Baltimore has 90 overalls at every single spot on the O-line, it shouldn't have happened. We have a pretty solid O-line, but it doesn't matter. I guess if you got some type of depth trait, you're just going to get a sack. Or, if your name is the New York Jets, you're just going to have crappy blocking. And for interceptions, Kyle Hamilton, of course. And it was intended for ETN going deep. Ward bit off a little bit more he could chew. But then again, how can I blame him when this entire game, every single time somebody catches it, it doesn't matter if you're 99 speed, if you're freaking 42 speed, it doesn't matter. You're always going to get caught. I have the minimum player speed threshold all the way down. Doesn't matter. Al Hamilton getting a pick. And it also doesn't help the fact that every time you try to throw to somebody on the other side of the field who's not even looking at your defender realizes, oh, hey, the quarterback threw it all the way over there. So as soon as you throw the football, you could be throwing it over the field, over the middle of the field, to the right, to the left. It doesn't matter. Whether the guy's on the right side of the field and you throw it to the left, he's going to realize, oh, hey, the quarterback threw it, without even looking at the quarterback. Make that make sense. So after losing the AFC Championship pretty bad, let's just say we're going to have to look to rebuild in the offseason. We're looking like the Jets of old in this game, and it was not even close. We need to produce a lot more on defense. We couldn't really pressure Lamar, so he was very free to do whatever he wanted. Shamar Turner didn't even get a sack. Well, he got a half sack, but we need to produce more. We can't be having this. Now, Coach Xavier Foster does have pretty good approval rating, so he's not getting fired anytime soon. As you can see, contract extended. And so Brees Hall is not going to be able to he's not going to be able to go to the Super Bowl. The Ravens, who were the second best team in the AFC, are going to get to go to the Super Bowl. So let's check out the Pro Bowl roster. Mike Ward makes the Pro Bowl as the third string quarterback. Let's see, do we have any receivers? Seems we don't. We don't have a tight end. And Joe Tippmann, one of the worst offensive linemen, somehow makes it as a center. I don't know, man. I don't know how he made that. But anyways, let's see. Do we have anybody else? We got Sherwood. Sherwood makes it. So we have 3 Pro Bowlers right now. And it doesn't appear we have much else. I don't know how we don't have the best kicker. I don't know how our kicker didn't make it, but oh well. So it seemed it's going to be the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta had pretty much a dominant playoff performance against every single team, putting up at least 28 in every single game. Detroit still cursed as ever. Atlanta looks to redeem themselves from the Super Bowl a couple years back. Tom Brady, the inevitable 28-3 victory for the Patriots. Can they redeem themselves, though? Michael Penix Jr. has had an outstanding year. That offense is looking pretty scary. The defense is looking just as good. Can they stop the unstoppable in Baltimore? We couldn't stop them. Maybe they can. It seems it was pretty much tied up until halftime, where Atlanta scored a touchdown and then just pretty much went away with it. Detroit kind of struggled to even stay in this game, it seems. Michael Penix having an absolutely excellent game, but he did get sacked 3 times. Him and Jared Goff. It looks like they both played pretty well. It's just Goff couldn't really score that much. Doesn't seem like he can get that offense going. Now for the run game, since Bijan had an excellent game, David Montgomery did Jim. I think Jahmyr Gibbs might have been hurt, so that might be why the Lions did not win this one. Probably because Jahmyr Gibbs was injured, but Atlanta takes advantage of it and makes a Super Bowl for the first time in a while. For the receiving game, Amon-Ra St. Brown had a great game, and fantasy managers, y'all might have just had probably one of your best games if you got Kyle Pitts, which I pray for you if you do. Kyle Pitts seems to actually be showing up whenever it matters most, which is pretty good for Atlanta, considering they drafted him pretty highly. He was supposed to be one of the best tight ends coming into the league, but he didn't really turn out to be that until now, or he's going to help them go on to the Super Bowl. Now to check out the yearly awards, it seems the MVP is going to be Jalen Hurts. Mike Ward, he stays at 3, ahead of guys like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar, Michael Penix, Baker Mayfield, Justin Herbert, and surprisingly, Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur seems to have taken over pretty freaking well at Cleveland. So maybe Cleveland has their guy in Shedeur, but we have our guy in Mike Ward. It's a shame. We couldn't really get much going in that Baltimore game. Otherwise, we'd be looking at a Super Bowl appearance right now. We'd be looking at something more than just this. And Coach Xavier Foster falls to 6. It seems the Patriots head coach, who's supposed to be Mike Vrabel, he wins Coach of the Year. And now for the awards, Offensive Player of the Year goes to Ashton Jeanty. He probably played out of his mind. He got them to the wild card round, only to lose to the eventual Super Bowl contenders in the Baltimore Ravens. Nick Benito wins Defensive Player of the Year. Forgot to mention Mike Ward is also on the Offensive Player of the Year at number 6. He didn't have the worst game against Baltimore, but he didn't really produce much more. And Offensive Rookie of the Year, Mike Ward had it pretty much locked in ever since like halfway throughout this. Actually, he had it pretty much locked in other than JoJo Sands. JoJo Sands started off the year with this award locked in, but then Mike Ward did Mike Ward things and absolutely balled out of his mind. Roman Rhodes, a man who we were considering taking, falls to number 3, which is funny enough. Ironically, we took Mike Ward at 3. So Roman Rhodes falling to 3 on the Offensive Rookie of the Year is something. And then we got Darius Etienne also at 5. So it seems Mike Ward will probably go up to Superstar Dev. Defensive Rookie of the Year, we have nobody on here. But the best quarterback in the AFC, barely beating out Lamar Jackson, is Mike Ward. I don't know if you win 2 awards, I don't know if it'll take you up two dev traits, but he won 2 awards. He was the best quarterback in the AFC and the Offensive Rookie of the Year. So if everything goes correctly, and if I am correct, I believe we could have a X-Factor quarterback in Mike Ward. Maybe, just maybe. And then best running back. It's unfortunate Breece Hall got injured the time he did. We could have gotten him his first 1,000-yard season. I don't know. Is it time to trade Breece Hall? Now, I will admit, Travis Etienne didn't really have the best game against Baltimore. I don't know if Brees Hall would have done much better, but it's a shame he got injured at the time he did. He had one of his second best season in his career, literally this year, but he's kind of injury prone. He got injured our first season. He got injured last season. He got injured twice last season, and he got injured at the end of this season when we kind of needed him most. Travis Etienne didn't really fill in until that game against the Bills where he got 142 yards. Is it time to move on from Brees Hall and try to find another guy at running back, whether in free agency or the draft, or heck, even trading for one? Is it time to get rid of Brees Hall? We could get some pretty good value for him. He's one of the best running backs in the AFC, so we can definitely get some value. Is it time to move on from him? He seems to be very injury prone. Now, we do have a couple players who are considered injury prone, but they actually haven't been injured yet. Knock on wood. But Brees Hall, he seems to be getting injured a lot more than we need him to. He's got injured 3 times within the last 2 years, all at very crucial moments in the season when we needed him most. So is it time to move on from Brees Hall? I certainly think so. But we'll just have to see how things swing out because our cap space might not be in the best situation by the free agency period. We don't have Darius Etienne or anybody in the best receiver category, best offensive lineman. That is false. Joe Tippmann, you absolutely sucked against Jason, or whatever his name is, Matabuike. You absolutely sucked. You got cooked every single down. I have multiple clips of you sucking booty cheeks. Really. I really have those clips. I can prove them to you. Literally just go look back at your film and that's all you need. We don't have anybody best defensive lineman, so it does seem Shamar Turner isn't going to be on this. And it doesn't seem like our former player either. Quinnen Williams is on here. Yeah, and even for the NFC. So it seems the Quinnen Williams move was probably a better idea than we think, mainly because, well, he's kind of not doing good. Shamar Turner actually produced something. He actually played pretty freaking good for the most part. And then for best linebacker, Sherwood, he's always going to be up there. Sherwood is one of the best linebackers in the league. So he's also my user. Jamien Sherwood, he's always going to be a great linebacker. He can get a pick whenever you need him to, for the most part. But we needed him. We needed him in the Ravens game. He didn't really show up. To be honest, nobody did. That defense was terrible, and the offense was just as bad, if not worse. Best DBs, Azariah Thomas, I think his problem was just that he was too slow. He could have definitely locked down Zay Flowers if he wasn't too slow. Now, Azariah Thomas, is it time to move on from him? We can get some value out of these guys for sure. Is it time to move on from them and go after somebody who can actually play, who is a much faster and better corner? I'm not saying Azariah Thomas sucks, but because he clearly doesn't. If he's considered the top 5 DB in the AFC, then he's doing something right. But the thing I'm trying to say, maybe it's time to get some value for these guys. We made it to the AFC Championship. Yeah, I'll give us that. But the thing is, when it mattered most, we fell. We sunk. We went down with the ship. We wet the bed. It doesn't matter. Jake Bates, he's definitely going to go up to Star Dev. I don't know how the frick he didn't make the Pro Bowl, because he is considered the best AFC kicker. So I truly don't know how he didn't make it. Jake Bates should have very well been in the Pro Bowl, but, well, I guess the game will do the game. And for punter, we had actually, no, not punter, dang it. But yeah, that's going to do it for the awards for this. Now to look at the stats for this season. Mike Ward had arguably the best rookie season ever. He is, I'm going to say he's the best rookie quarterback in NFL history. He had the most passing yards by a rookie in a single season. I'm pretty sure he had the best touchdown interception ratio among any rookie in history. He got sacked 36 times, which, yeah, I will admit that's not good, but it's not bad. It's actually pretty good. Let's go to the Lions, 34. Packers, 37. Let's go to the Panthers, 36. Basically, what I'm trying to say, we have a pretty solid line. Let's see how many times. Lamar, 33. So we have a pretty average O line. So our O line, he in simulation he doesn't get sacked much, and he actually does pretty freaking well. Now for the run game, I hate to see it. Brees Hall only 31 yards away from 1,000. If he would have played that game against the Patriots at the end of the season, he would have very well got that 1,000 yards. But he might have to go get that 1,000 yards somewhere else. Because right now, I am not happy with the fact that he was injured when we could have very much used him in the playoffs. We could have very much got him in the playoffs. We probably could have got a lot more in the run game. Now, we probably could have run the clock down a little bit against the Ravens and wear them down slower. But if we would have had Brees Hall, maybe we wouldn't have fumbled on the first play of the game. He didn't fumble all season. Now, I don't know why it's saying oh, wait. Oh, yeah, I forgot. So it doesn't count the playoff stats. ETN didn't fumble all season either. Brees Hall didn't fumble all season. Maybe if we had Brees Hall in the playoffs, maybe, just maybe, we would have not fumbled that first play of the game. For us, at least. Brees Hall, man, this might have just been your tenure at the freaking Jets. We can definitely go look for somebody else at running back. There's plenty out there. I imagine there's probably going to be a good one in free agency. Speaking of which, we're going to need to get somebody freaking extra good if we want to even consider getting back to that spot. The AFC Championship, we got freaking lucky to get there in the first place. We barely beat out the Chargers. Actually, we did pretty good against the Chargers. They just scored garbage time points, which got it up to 30-35. The Bills, though, it took us to literally the last play just to beat them. But we did beat them, and we made it to the AFC Championship. We know we can beat these teams. If we can get pressure on the other quarterback, if we don't allow them to get 3 rushing touchdowns on us in one game, we can get a stop. If we don't allow them to throw for 4 touchdowns and get freaking 3 rushing touchdowns, maybe we can just win a game. And now for the receiving stats, nobody above 1,000. We have yet to get a 1,000-yard receiver. Garrett Wilson finally playing like Garrett Wilson. 8 touchdowns. But DeAndre Hopkins, in what could be his last season, I believe he's in year 13 or 14, probably 13. Actually, I think this will be year 14. I'm pretty sure. So in year 14, DeAndre Hopkins still leads the team in touchdowns. He got that one in the playoffs. We're gonna miss him if he does retire, because this is probably the closest shot he's had at winning a Super Bowl with any team. Houston wasn't really gonna work. Baltimore wasn't really gonna work. Arizona wasn't really gonna work. Tennessee, it wasn't really gonna work. New York was probably the closest next to Baltimore for him to get a Super Bowl ring. Now, if he stays for one more year, we could potentially be looking at a ring. But that's if he stays. Now, I don't know if he's going to retire or not. I really hope he doesn't, but all signs point to yes, that he will. And I wouldn't blame him. He ended the season on a pretty high note, getting 10 touchdowns. That's pretty solid for him. Darius Etienne performed quite well, I'd say. Now, he didn't get 1,000 yards, but can you really blame him? Garrett Wilson didn't get 1,000 yards. I can blame him on this one. He should have very much gotten that 1,000 yards. Now, we didn't really target him all season, but it's whatever. Now for the defense, Sherwood leading the team with 125 tackles. Incredible. Followed by, of course, Tony Adams, who did get injured like right before the playoffs, which that didn't really affect us too much because this man right here, our Darius Washington, came in, filled in quite well. He's third on the team in tackles. Sauce Gardner, I thought he'd do much better, but I'm not moving on from Sauce Gardner. He is a 99 X factor, so that'd be kind of stupid. Now for TFLs, Will McDonald, Jamian Sherwood, and Jermaine Johnson, and Sebastian Joseph Day all led the team in TFLs. Will McDonald at 15. I wanted him to be something, and he's actually proven to be pretty good. And the rest of these guys, Sherwood, he's always going to be one of the best in the league at what he does, Mike linebacker. Jermaine Johnson. Those two edge rushers do quite well, so I don't plan on getting rid of them anytime soon. I think we've got our guys at edge rusher. It's just we need another D tackle. Sebastian Joseph Day, I don't think I'm going to resign him. I think I'm just going to try to trade up in the draft to get the guy I want. I want to get either Trevante Bridges or Cam Dunn. One of those two would definitely be solid. I don't care which one. I'm just going to need one of those D tackles. Now, Shamar Turner, he might have only got 9 TFLs, but he did lead the team in sacks at 8. Probably a down year for him. Now, he didn't. It's not a terrible season, but he's a young player. You got to let him develop. He's not necessarily the best, but he's not the worst. And also, not to mention Sebastian Joseph Day, he got 7.5 sacks. So good on him. But for interceptions, Azariah Thomas got 3, Sherwood got 2, Blackman got 2, and Sauce Gardner got 2. And then here's the guys who got 1. A couple of guys on here that we actually ended up signing in the free agency in year 1. So you can tell free agent signings are going to be a big momentum swing for this team. A lot of the guys that we signed, like Julian Blackman, Devin Bush, Danny Stutzman, who we traded for early on in the season, those guys are going to matter quite a lot. And I mean quite a lot. Because if they're getting picks, then we're producing turnovers. And if we're producing turnovers, we're allowing teams not to score that much. And if we're not allowing teams to score that much, then we can win a game. And it seems we lost to the new Super Bowl champions. The Baltimore Ravens finally get it done. What a turn of events. So Atlanta cannot manage to win the Super Bowl this time around either. Atlanta's yet to win one. Baltimore wins one for the first time in a while since Joe Flacco led them to one. Actually, well, I'm not going to say Joe Flacco. It was more of the defense that led them there. Joe Flacco just played good enough at quarterback, scored a little bit. The defense just stopped the opposing team's offenses, and pretty much the rest is history. They had guys like Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, T-Sizzle, Ed Reed. That whole defense was pretty much unstoppable. But the Ravens are going to get back to the Super Bowl, win it. Nnamdi Madubuike, the man who is absolutely destroying, who is considered one of the best offensive linemen in the AFC, Joe Tippmann. I mean, at least they're highlighting Mike Ward. If you didn't, then something's wrong with you. Mike Ward's already considered an MVP candidate. Jalen Hurts won it. Falcons failed to win it again. Last time around it was 28-3. This time it's 17-27. Ravens this time have a better offense than pretty much anybody you can think of. That running back quarterback duo with him and Derrick Henry is just unstoppable, and it proved very much in our game against them. But hey, at least we can say we lost to the Super Bowl champions. And then in mock draft 4, they have Trevante Bridges at 6, and they have Cam Dunn at 10. A bunch of these guys look quite well. Billy Haynes, who's slated to go number 1, and it seems he's been that way almost the entire time. So Billy Haynes, you could be a Chicago Bear. So they seem Quinn Williams probably isn't the answer for him, and they're just going to go trying to get somebody who can actually play defensive tackle. Rams are looking to try to get their next Aaron Donald. I don't know why the Packers, who don't actually have Micah Parsons, are going to be trying to get a guy like Trevante Bridges, which I don't blame them. It seems this year D tackle is quite common occurrence. Now, whether we can actually get one whenever we get down to our pick, that's a different story. We are a number 30 overall pick. Yikes. Yeah, we're going to have to trade up somehow, some way. If we can get a guy like Trevante Bridges or even Cam Dunn at the least, we might be in a spot where we actually look like a Super Bowl contender team. Now, I wouldn't say we were that this year, but we did quite well. We surprised a bunch of people. Now, either we trade up to 10 or trade up to 6. I want to trade up to 6 because Cam Dunn, he's good. Yeah, he's good. But he's not a guy from freaking Georgia. And we've seen guys from Georgia. 6'3", 21 years old, 301 pounds. Look at that. This man is an athlete. If he does not have hidden dev, I would be mad at myself for not trying to get him. This man looks like one of the best athletes in the draft. Trevante Bridges looks like the next New York Jet. Now, City says he's most likely or his top fits are the Bengals, Bills, and Broncos, which I would hate to have to play against him several times a year. But I want him. One of our it says our strongest position is D-line, but we already know that's not true. We're not keeping Sebastian Joseph Day. I don't have much money in cap room, so I don't really feel like keeping him. So he's probably gone. But Trevante Bridges, if we can keep him, if we can get him, somehow manage to trade up for him. Heck, the Packers might not have a running back. We could get rid of Breece Hall, send him to Green Bay, so they could have another good running back. Or we could give them possibly Azariah Thomas. They could always use a good corner. Anything we can do to get this man Trevante Bridges. He's not necessarily generational. He's only a round 1 talent, but he looks freaking baller. Disciplined player who rarely gets flagged, has a motor that runs through the whistle, often looks to rip the ball from runners. I already try to put on freaking like strip ball aggressive whenever I'm playing. Now, he doesn't have the best block shedding or power moves, but he does look pretty freaking good. His power moves aren't the best, his block shedding's not the best, but a lot of other stuff is really good. Now, you see that F injury. I'm just going to tell you this, seeing that F injury. You know who also had F injury? Darius Etienne. But, whoop-de-freaking-diddle-doo, he did not go down. I don't think he got injured not once this year. Then again, he's not the starting receiver, but he is. Well, technically he was. He was a starting receiver, but not the starting receiver. So, I'm not too worried about that F injury. I'm not too worried about it. What I am worried about is Breece Hall getting injured constantly. And Cam Dunn, he's a year older. He's about 9 pounds heavier and 1 inch less than he is height-wise. He's not nearly as good of an athlete as Trevante Bridges is, but he is a little bit more of a well-rounded athlete when it comes to the skill set. His block shedding's better, power moves are better, his injuries better. But like I said, I'm not too worried about the injuries. I'd be willing to take an injury-prone guy like You know how the Cardinals took Will Johnson, and Will Johnson's actually a pretty solid DB, one of the best, I'd say one of the better rookie corners in that class. Coming out of Michigan, people were concerned, oh man, this guy's gonna get injured a lot. He's already injury prone. Well, injury prone doesn't really matter if you got talent and you aren't stupid when you play. So whether we get Cam Dunn or Trevante Bridges, that's fine by me. But Trevante looks like the much better athlete, but his skill set isn't as developed. But Cam Dunn, I wouldn't say he's a terrible athlete, but he's not nearly on the level of Trevante Bridges. Do we go after the athlete? Or do we go after a guy who's more solidified skill set wise than Bridges? Cam Dunn looks pretty freaking solid. But do I care? Now we do get guys like Michael Hurd, who they say is actually pretty good. 6'1", 300 pounds, 22 years old, so he's not terrible either. Now, he isn't really that much. He's a decent athlete. Not the best, but not the worst. His skill set looks unmatched. Power moves, he seems like a power guy. Yeah, power rusher. So he's probably going to do good at that. Injury, so he's practically never going to get injured. And he's got good play rec, good power moves, good pursuit. B tackle, so he can definitely tackle. The C block shedding, that's the same with Trevante. Not the best block shedding, but overall he's a pretty good player, except for him not really being that good of an athlete. He's a decent athlete, don't get me wrong. He's pretty decent, but not nearly what Trevante is. I really want to look forward to that Trevante Bridges athlete, because I have a good feeling he's definitely going to be a hidden dev. And if he isn't, then oh well, I picked wrong. But if he is, you can't blame me. Trevante Bridges looked like an absolute stud athlete. His skill set was good enough to make me think about it for sure. Michael Hurd, can't count him out. I doubt these guys are going to fall to us. And once again, he's also slated to go to one of these teams. Bengals always need defense. Bills, they couldn't really stop our run game. And the Broncos, well, the Broncos want to continue to add to that really, really good defense. Now to look at the retirements this year. And it seems Texans will lose a backup running back. Amari Cooper retires as a member of the Steelers organization. So him and Aaron... Actually, no, Aaron Rodgers is our backup. So Roman Rhodes is going to lose one of his starting receivers. Amari Cooper, yeah, that's a pretty big loss for Roman Rhodes and the Steelers. He's going to lose one of his better receivers. Seahawks losing two of their best defensive linemen, Leonard Williams and DeMarcus Lawrence. That's a massive loss for them. The Saints losing a couple very important guys, Kevin Byard, Devon Godshaw, and then Brandon Cooks decides to come back to New Orleans and retire there with the team that drafted him. And now the Rams are going to lose Devontae Adams, so they're going to definitely have to go look for receiver and offensive lineman. It doesn't seem like they're going to have much luck with the rookie quarterback. They might have to move on from him as well. But Tucker Turner, he's also losing one of his best receivers. And it seems New England's going to lose the same thing as well. A decent receiver in Kendrick Bourne and an offensive lineman. Eddie Goldman and Tyler Lockett retiring. Packers losing a couple of important guys. They can easily replace the kicker. Lions not really losing too much. Oh no. No. We lost a right tackle who was decent. Rico Dowdle, who is our backup, well, actually technically our third string running back, retires after only 8 years. You were on our team, buddy. You weren't in free agency. You were on our team. So Rico Dowdle decides to hang up the cleats after 8 years. And as we all expected, Aaron decides, hey, after I mentor the guy for one more year, I'm going to go to ayahuasca, or I'm going to go get that ayahuasca done. So Aaron, he decided once he turned Mike Ward into one of the best quarterbacks in the league, he's gonna wrap it up. And then as we predicted, D Hump is gonna end his career on a high note, nearly making the Super Bowl, leading the team in touchdowns. It's a shame to see you go. One of the GOATs is gone. D Hump, one of the best jump ball guys in NFL history, is going to be gone. So we're going to lose some pretty solid guys. We're going to have to look to probably find another mentor quarterback. Not necessarily to mentor Mike Ward, but having that veteran presence on a team would definitely help. So we're going to have to go look for a cheap quarterback replacement. Now we do have Justin Fields, but he's wanting too much money. So we're definitely going to have to look up for a backup quarterback now. And we're also going to have to look for a receiver, but it's not as big of a concern as you would think. Now, the 49ers losing a couple important guys, DJ Jones and Devondre Campbell. Falcons losing two guys after losing the Super Bowl. They're probably going to be missed. And then Tyreek Hill, one of my favorite players of all time in NFL, retires after 11 years. He decided, Tua, I don't want to play with you no more. You've caused me to retire. I've done enough in my career to say that I'm done. So Tyreek Hill, I would have loved to see him on our team, but he decides to leave. Matthew Judon retires as a Cowboy. David Andrews, Luke Rhodes, and DeForest Buckner. Colts are going to lose a massive D tackle. Oh boy. DeForest Buckner, one of their best D tackles in ever, actually. One of their best D tackles in Colts history. Travis Kelce decides he wants to go play family man just like his brother Jason Kelce, but this time with his fiance Taylor Swift. Swifties are going to be happy and kind of sad because now Taylor's going to have to sing a song about how the old football boy retired or whatever. And then Nick Chubb retires as a Charger. He decides to hang it up. He had a pretty solid game in our wild card game against them. It's just they couldn't do too much. Cardinals going to lose two absolutely big-time linemen for them. They're going to have to go replace them, and also losing Dalvin Tomlinson. Deion Jones retires. Andrew DePaula, Levante David. Oh, two massive Mike linebackers for Tampa Bay retiring. This league is getting shook up right now. Joel Bitonio retiring. Evan Ingram. He goes. And that's pretty much it for all the team retirees. A bunch of people you wouldn't expect to retire kind of retired. And now let's look at the extra ones. Russell Wilson is going to retire. It's going to be a shame to not be able to see the Moonball Merchant anymore, but he's gone. Hassan Reddick retires for Jadavius White, Shaq Barrett. It's a shame to see all these guys go. Jalen Smith, Cam Fleming, Pharaoh Brown, who actually had a spark of luck one year and just became really good. Al-Quadin Muhammad, he goes. Dan Skipper, DeMarcus Walker, no relation to, I don't know, Yannick Ngakoue, Hayden Hurst, a bunch of well-known guys. Dalvin Cook, the man I would confuse with James Cook. He retires as a free agent. James Bradbury retires. He had his high moments with the Eagles. Dalvin Cook had his high moments with the Vikings. And that's pretty much it for retirements. It seems we only have $36 million in cap space. Laramie Tunsil, he gets franchise tagged by Washington. Now it is big time contract negotiations. We're going to accept Olaf Fushano's fifth year option. He's not necessarily developed as much as we would like, but he is pretty good. Still 80 overall. Superstar dev, I'd say it's undeserving, but Oh well. Justin Fields, as much as you have massive interest in us, we don't have massive interest in you. We're not giving you that $92 million contract. We already have our guy at quarterback. I'm sorry, Justin, but you can go play elsewhere. You're asking for way too much of a contract. Justin Fields is no longer a member of the New York Jets. Samuel Womack. I don't know. Let's go look. You can get rid of him. Wade Wadig. You are not going to be a member. Sebastian Joseph Day, he played pretty freaking well. How much would it cost to keep him? It wouldn't cost that much to actually keep him. He played pretty freaking well, but if we're going to have a guy who's 32 and he's not a mentor, what's the point of keeping him? He's not providing any value to this team. Now, he did do pretty freaking good this year. He was the second leading guy in sacks on the team, but I don't know. He's 78 overall, normal dev. 32 years old, that's a killer. Him being 32 is definitely a killer. So, Sebastian Joseph Day, you did pretty good this year. People are definitely going to have some interest in you, but unfortunately, I do not have enough interest in you. Carter Warren, what are we looking like at that position? Left tackle. We can probably just go pick one up about the same overall. So, I'm not too worried about re-signing you, Carter Williams. Eric Watts. How are we looking at that position? He has relative interest in us. You're 26, but you are 70 overall. We could probably draft somebody better. I'm going to be honest, we can definitely draft somebody better. If we can save some money, not re-signing these guys, then maybe that would definitely help. He does have solid interest in us, but I don't know if it's enough. He is only 26, but I'm not too worried about it. I don't really care to keep him. Jared Dunn, you were pretty much irrelevant this year. He got injured at the end of the season. He was out like 5 to 9 weeks. So I'm going to just withdraw. Jared Dunn, you are not worth keeping. You're only 70 overall. You're 24 years old, but you are not worth it. Grant Calcaterra, he did perform pretty big for us. But then again, we've already got 3 tight ends. But we've seen how injuries can affect this tight end group. We've had Colson Loveland get injured, Mason Taylor get injured. So basically, it got down to Mike Barker, Grant Calcaterra. We've seen how injuries can affect this team. We've seen it. But he was our 4th string tight end, so I think it's time to move on. And what's even funnier is we can draft guys literally about this overall who's going to be a little bit cheaper. Braden McGregor, right edge. He is 26, but he's 71 overall. It might be time to start getting rid of these guys who are lower overall who wouldn't really matter too much to us. Plus, we'd be saving some money on these guys. Kenyon Green, he was our starting left guard. He kind of got pushed out the way, and now he wouldn't even be considered our starting one. Dylan Radunes, he is our starter, but I do think we can bring him back because he can definitely develop. He's only 72 overall, normal dev. He's 26, but Dylan Radunes, he is 30. So I'll try to re-sign Kenyon Green. And does he want to stay? And he does not. So that's unfortunate. Bobby Brown. He does have a little bit of interest in us. If he keeps this offer and he wants to leave. So we're not going to be getting Bobby Brown or Kenyon Green back. 2 guys I was okay with keeping. I was okay with keeping these 2, but apparently they don't want to stay. Kenyon Green has no interest in us. You would definitely be our starting left guard. And be honest with you, Kenyon. Bobby Brown, he didn't want to stay. I gave him a little bit higher of a contract. You're not even that good. and you're wanting 21 mil. Yeah, we cannot have that. Samuel Womack. How good? Now, he didn't play the best, but we don't have too much depth at that position. We can probably look for a little bit better guys at that position. I'll give him 4 mil, and he wants to stay. So we'll get Samuel Womack back. It seems like that's all we're going to be able to get for now. Now, I do think our defensive coordinator did pretty crappy this year. I do think I want to fire him. He didn't really play all that. He didn't really let us play that well on defense. Now, we did have some really good defensive players, but the thing is, we allowed too many points on defense. I'm specifically talking about the Bills game, the Chargers game, the Ravens game. The playoffs were just too many points scored. We actually have a solid defense. We have a solid run defense in the season. But when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens, we just have a non-existence defense. So I'm sorry, Stephen Meyer, you're gone. Let's look at the available ones. Aaron Glenn's available. Emmanuel Ortega. Getting a guy like Aaron Glenn, who is the former coach of the Jets before Xavier Foster replaced him. That might be something. We could bring back Aaron Glenn, or we could bring in a new guy like Emmanuel Ortega, Stephen Meyer. Stephen Meyer seems to be a much better guy than we think. So we hire Stephen Meyer after firing our old defensive coordinator. Our old defensive coordinator didn't really do that good. Zach Parker, though, he's really helped this offense bloom. We've done pretty well on offense. Having Mike Ward, possibly the best rookie quarterback ever, doing really well. It's great. I want to try to work on a little bit of our stuff here. We need to definitely work on trying to upgrade our offensive line's development, because I want them to develop in something. Now for the scouting stuff, we can try to go find that one right there. Hire 2 tier 3 scouts. We can get a lot of good scouts. That would be awesome. Upgrade it so now we can get 3 at a time. 3 tier 3 scouts. That's what we need. If we can get these guys upgraded, it's going to be we're going to have a field day with drafting, and yeah, basically these scouts, they're going to be a fun group of people to be dealing with. Well, we are at the first free agency mark, and we're going to check out the combine result. Seems Trevante Bridges. I'll see how he did. Oh my goodness. Look at this man. Elite, 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 great, great. This is one heck of an athletic dude. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. If he does not have hidden dev, there's something wrong with him. Because this is incredible. Now, he did really freaking well in certain categories at the combine. He wasn't the fastest guy, but I'm not going to put it against him. First 3-cone, first 20-yard shuttle, second vertical jump, 8th bench press. 38 reps on a bench press is insane. I mean, well, for D tackle, it's probably not. But this man, I don't care if he's not the best talent, like, to start off. If he's got, like, hidden dev or something, this could be absolutely insane. Now, he had a pretty good day at the combine. He kind of struggled in the broad jump and running fast, but he's a D tackle. You don't expect him to run fast, because, let's see. Now, he is a speed rusher. Well, I'll give him that. But he's got elite excel, elite agility, elite change of direction, elite jumping. If this man is not somewhat generational, I don't know what. Because he looks like a dog. He had a pretty, like I said, he had a pretty solid combine. He is an athlete, like a pure athlete. And some of his skill sets is pretty good. Now he's not a power rusher, so he's not going to have the best power moves. He's got really good finesse moves, so he can definitely do like a swat, swim, whatever. He can do a little spin move. Pretty much, yeah. But he can't really block shed. He can't really block shed that well. Impact blocking is pretty good. I don't really understand what impact blocking is. A tackle. So if he gets his hands on somebody, they're not gonna break away. Oh, bless me. But anyways, Trevante Bridges is ooh. This is why I like him. Out of Georgia, that's one heck of a freaking athlete right there. Billy Haynes, he looks pretty freaking good. Now, he is kind of lazy when it comes to the stamina. He's not the best. He's not nearly as good of an athlete, but he's still a pretty solid athlete. He had one heck of a day at the combine, getting top 10 in almost everything except for the 40-yard dash. So he's not the fastest. We already know that. But he does have a pretty solid skill set otherwise. He does look like a beast, and it seems Chicago is going to get their guy. Now, I'm not trading up to one just to get him. He's only a round one talent. But he could very well be he could very well be the sixth talent, the eighth talent. Heck, he could be the 32nd talent. But Billy Haynes looks like a stud at D tackle. So they could definitely get their guy. Now let's check our favorites. We do have some guys who's supposed to go in the third to fourth round. We can definitely look to get another center. We could look at that. Since D Hump just retired, we could look at getting a receiver. Cam Blanton, he did pretty freaking good, but the thing is though, he's got that elite speed. He had a pretty solid day at the combine. Somehow a 4.27 is the second fastest receiver. So there's got to be somebody else out there who ran pretty freaking fast. But the downside to him though, he can't really catch. He has got blazing speed. So if we get him, we can definitely move him over to running back. So Cam Blanton might be more of a running back than anything. Because he can't really catch, but this man can definitely run the ball. He's not got the best. It doesn't look like he's got that good a break tackle. Spin move could be all right. Stiff arm's not the best. Now, he doesn't really look like a good receiver, but he could be a pretty solid running back. I will give him that. He probably could have F injury like everybody else on our team, which probably isn't a good thing. But then again, the people who have F injury on our team haven't really got injured. Now, he does excel in spec catch, but that's pretty much it. I would not mind, if we do draft him, I wouldn't mind moving him to a running back, but it said he's supposed to go in the first round, which is kind of sad. But then again, players do fall. They do fall. And here's the other guy they say is doing a little bit better. He is 5'8", but he ran a 4.24 elite speed, elite excel. And the upside with him, he can actually catch. Now he can't really run routes, but he can definitely catch. If we put him at running back, he would be a receiving back. But if we keep him at receiver, he could develop into a pretty solid. My comparison for him probably Tyreek Hill. Now this guy, if he does not have 99 speed, something's wrong with this game's draft engine. Because what it's showing me right here, he ran a 4.24, elite speed, elite excel. He probably is going to have 99 speed and like 97, 98 excel. Or he could just have 99 both. But Tim Milner looks like a pretty solid guy to keep. Now a bunch of these UDFA centers, yeah, they don't really look that good. So. But George Sierra, or Jorge Sierra. He looks pretty good at Oklahoma State. So him and Mike Ward might have that connection from when they played at Oklahoma State. Now Cam Dunn, let's see his. Oh my. One of the best at the combine. So Cam Dunn, he performed freaking well. If we end up getting him because we can't trade up to 6, how wouldn't he be mad? He might not be nearly as much of an athlete ratings wise as freaking Trevante Bridges, but he dominated the combine. Like I mean, like just straight up dominated. First, second, fourth, fifth, sixth. He didn't go out of the top 6 in any of the stats. In any of the stats. Man, I'm stumbling on my words. Cam Dunn is just that dang good. But a guy like Cam Dunn would definitely do good for any team he goes to. And it says Steelers, Dolphins, or Raiders. So it's not saying Bengals, Bills, or heck, even the Broncos. But if you think about it, Raiders did allow the Ravens to beat them. So getting a D tackle wouldn't hurt. Dolphins always need to work on better defense. And Steelers, that defense, they lost Cam Hayward 2 years ago. They lost him last year. So they could be trying to get the next Cam Hayward in Cam Dunn. So surprisingly, both guys got the Cam name. Maybe going after a guy named Cam, maybe that's the meta. Maybe that's just the way to go when it comes to getting D tackles. But that will do it. We lose the AFC Championship by a wide margin. But let's look to the future now. Now we can try to probably boost up our defense to where we don't allow nearly as many yards, touchdowns, scores, just where we don't allow nearly as much. As you can see, we had one of the worst rushing offenses in the league and one of the worst rushing defenses in the league. We struggle with rushing. We really do. Getting a guy like Trevante Bridges, Cam Dunn, or Billy Haynes would be epic. It would really help us out because we do need to get pressure. We didn't get hardly any against Baltimore. Now, we did get a half sack with both Shamar Turner and Sebastian Joseph Day, but we aren't re-signing Sebastian Joseph Day. We have just a tiny bit of money to spend, so we're not going to be able to get too much in free agency. We might be able to get one big-time player, but let's actually go see, before we end the episode, who is going to be here in free agency. And, of course, it's a guy like Brian Branch, Kyle Hamilton, Zay Flowers, Marlon Humphrey, Tony Pollard. So it seems like Baltimore's going to be losing the majority of their best players. If we can get a guy like Brian Branch, that would be epic. That would really help our defense out. Kyle Hamilton and Zay Flowers already have significant interest in us. But will we have enough money? We actually will. We could get a guy like Kyle Hamilton. Or what about Brian Branch? We can even get a guy like Brian Branch. But the thing is, if we can go after one of these guys, getting a guy like Zay Flowers, who torched us in the playoff game, he likes that we have a franchise quarterback, that we have a big market. Now, we haven't won a championship since like 1968. Kyle Hamilton, he likes the fact that we're now a league favorite to potentially win the Super Bowl. If we're just like one or two defensive players away from being able to go to that point. Mike Ward is a freaking dog at quarterback, so the offense shouldn't struggle. We just hired a new defensive coordinator, and we should cook. Like we should do like a little bit better than 10-7. Kyle Hamilton would be great. Marlon Humphrey doesn't really have much interest in us, but Tony Pollard, he likes us. They like the fact that now we're considered Super Bowl favorites. Kyle Hamilton, he's not getting nearly as many looks as you would think. He's only 26. He's 93 overall, 26 years old. I don't understand how he's not getting a look or two, but hey, I'm not going to argue. He has significant interest in us. And that'd be awesome if we can get Kyle Hamilton. Our safety group isn't the best, but it is still pretty solid. But a guy like Kyle Hamilton is a game changer. We might not be able to sign too many guys this offseason, but if we can get one major signing, especially a guy named Kyle Hamilton who had the only interception on on Mike Ward in the playoffs in that Ravens game, man, that would be insane. To even consider getting one of these guys is crazy. Baltimore, they might not be nearly as good. They're not going to have their players, their standout players on defense. Having Kyle Hamilton and Sauce Gardner would be game changing. That would take this defense to the next level. But that's going to do it for this episode. We're going to end this one on a high note after losing the AFC Championship. We have the potential to steal one of their best players in free agency. Kyle Hamilton could be a New York Jet after this season. I don't know, but that'll do it for me here today in the Jets franchise. If you have enjoyed and you've made it this far, please consider liking and subscribing as it does help the channel grow. And I want to try to become something. I want this channel to be getting up. My goal for now is to try to get up to 100 subscribers. That would be awesome. My dream has always been to become a YouTuber, but well, that dream kind of hasn't become reality just yet. But maybe you can help me realize that dream, get up to 100 subscribers. That is my first, well, not first, but my next goal. But anyways, I am Yo Boy Ballin' One, as always, saying peace out, everyone.